Hello. Welcome on this Saturday, last Saturday of January, our first month in this year, 2026. So, we've been doing a cultural retrospective, and this evening, I'll do a little departure, but it's still a retrospective in a sense, but we're not doing the year retrospective. The year we're at is 2001. So we'll be picking up on Tuesday with 2001. I think I'm just needing to ease into 2001, knowing what we went through and figuring out what really happened. So I want to say that I'm happy Marmar is feeling good. So your prayers were heard. He's feeling better. We're glad you're back, Marlon. So let's look at our first entry into this discussion, our first imagery, and let's kick this discussion off. I know it's probably going to be controversial because already I'm noticing people are not able to control themselves. They don't have good self control where they can keep scrolling and not get in their feelings and know how to just keep scrolling. Just scroll on, scroll on, scroll on, scroll on. Remember float on? We could have a scroll on, scroll on. There's no need to make yourself upset if this kind of stuff, it's like, greetings, Karen. Thank you. Yes, our discussion this evening. Now, Karen is from New York, so she can appreciate this. This is a New Yorker type of discussion. Well, Melania is a honorary New Yorker, right? That's been her residence. She's had two residencies, or three rather, in America. So we'll kick off with a discussion of Nicki and Melania. And to me, I believe these two women understand the assignment. And I'll tell you why I say that. All right. So we know that recently Melania has released a documentary simply titled Melania. It debuted or premiered yesterday, Friday, January 30th. I went to watch the movie. And yes, I went by myself. Oh my God. One of the comments were like, oh, ha ha ha. You went to I see nobody in the theater with you. And it's like, okay, literally people think that just because they don't see a person in a picture that people are not there. Like, it's weird. It's just weird to assume something like that. But that's okay. But I was by myself, but not by myself. But it's weird how people think things like that. I just said, well, okay, I like being with myself. Sometimes you just do things. I travel by myself sometimes. I was an only child for many, many years. I learned how to be okay with my own company. Is that okay? I hope it's okay if you're okay. The person who said that. Hey, being Nessing, that the dude downstairs from me terrorizing his girl, her baby, and cat. What? Terrorizing them? Is that something you hear often? That's terrible when you hear those kind of things. I can't imagine. I had a couple of situations with neighbors that it was just sad. One guy that lived below me in one apartment in Los Angeles, he would cry almost every day in the evening. He would just wail and cry. And I'm just hearing this man, and I want to go downstairs and give him a hug and maybe a piece of cake or something. But he's just crying and wailing. It was just the saddest thing to listen to. But I didn't know him very well. But then I've had neighbors that are fighting. So I hope it gets under control. Okay, so let's begin this conversation. And we're going to talk architecture because I love to get into architecture and I have a great excuse to do that. So let's look at the next slide, please, Marlon. Let's see what we're about to get into. I want to thank anybody who is joining or watching on the replay, thank you very much. And I appreciate your comments. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like anybody. But if you have a comment, I don't mind if it's different. You have another opinion, share it. I mean, you don't have to agree, okay? But you can be agreeable. You can be in disagreement, but be agreeable. Is that okay? Being okay with your own energy. Exactly. Is that so weird? I don't know. All right, so Melania, a new film, and she covered 20 days to history. That was the tagline. So it was in theaters, and I thought it was interesting because I have not wanted to go to the movie theater at all. Like the thought of it, I just think of sticky floors and seats that have things and petri dishes of things. I don't know. I never thought I wanted to go to a movie theater again. I used to enjoy going to movie theaters, and it's changed here in America. Our culture has changed, and Hollywood has really messed up the movie experience. All of the executives in Hollywood should be ashamed of themselves because they ruined their own industry. They caused others to be unemployed in the industry, hardworking, technical people. And a lot of people are just without good work in Hollywood because they decided to not listen to people and decided to give us a lot of just degenerate content. We are making a change. This is a pivot that's happening. And for Melania to have a film that is exclusively in theaters says a lot about the film industry, I'll say. And this was very strategic. The timing, everything about this, I think is very well done, very well executed, high quality. And it's high time that Melania is respected in our country. It's no reason for people to hate her. I don't get it. It's like you can't give me a good reason. People already are starting to crash out on me because I said I went to see the film. And you know, it's unfortunate because it's Black people doing it. And that's who were attacking me in 2020 just because I supported Trump. They act like you have an altar that you're worshiping the guy. Trump, to me, is a businessman, a good businessman. He has a sound mind. I do believe he has a very sound mind. And he has been an American patriot all of his life. And he's wanted the country to prosper. It's evident by looking at old archived video. You can even watch Oprah herself, who interviewed him a lot. And she would press him to run for president. And when he finally runs for president, that low down gutter snipe Oprah decides to turn on him. And that's why I don't like Oprah, because she is a gutter snipe. She is a degenerate. She's disloyal, and I don't like her. I used to defend her. Some people never liked Oprah. They were the wise ones. They were on to her early. I fell for her BS, and I really liked her. I really liked Oprah. I can't stress that enough. So for me to go from really liking Oprah, I was a fan of this woman. And then to see how she treats other people, that's the thing. You know, you can watch a person and the way they treat other people, it is a turnoff, especially how they treat people that they feel are beneath them. It is always a turnoff to me. And Oprah is a mean girl, and a lot of people are mean girls. Okay. I have been surrounded with mean girls my entire life. My family is a bunch of mean girls. Okay. And I've had to learn how to navigate mean girls. I grew up in Philadelphia, a city full of mean girls. Yes. I went to a college, Spelman College, full of mean girls, okay? And this is a problem in our culture, the mean girls. And I've learned how to give it back to the mean girls. I don't get punked down by them. I'm not scared of a mean girl because I've had to deal with mean girls, like I said, and I've had to know how to put them in their place. Because half of them, when you really check into their psychology, they're real fucked up people. And they have a lot of insecurities about it's their shit. That's why they're so effing mean. Every mean girl in my family is fucked up. Fucked up. And you look at people in the culture like, what is her name? That's, what is that woman's name? Justin Baldoni. She was in Gossip Girl. I forget her name right now. Maybe I just want to forget her name. But she is really like classic textbook mean girl, along with, you hear about Taylor Swift and all these people, and just we've had a infestation with mean girls. And I think a lot of it is because our society has become very feminized. We have too many women in too many spaces. And yes, I said that. We have too many women in the workplace. If you work with a woman, you know what I'm talking about. Miserable women that want to be bosses. They're terrible. I've only had a few nice, not nice, I don't want to say nice because I want to get away from nice. I'm talking kind and respectful. I've only had a few. But the nursing profession, I should have mentioned that. The nursing profession is peak mean girl profession. Let me tell you, the nurses, they put mean girls to shame. They are another level of mean. Okay? So when I see mean girls piling on to someone, I want to go and protect the underdog. I don't know what it is. I've always felt that way. I had a best friend in elementary school who came to the school kind of in the middle of the year, and she was buck-toothed and real light-skinned with green eyes, and, she looked a little odd maybe. She was tall like me, awkward, gawky. We were all gawky, but, she was real light-skinned, and people would tease her. She came and it was like the children were not welcoming right away. But I see her and I'm tall and I go up and introduce myself. Hey, I'm Jennifer. And I welcomed her into the fold because you can have an impact on that kind of situation. You can bring a person into a fold by approving them or asking everybody to be kind at least and give them a chance. Somebody has to speak up. Everybody can't be an effing coward when they're watching someone get piled on. It's too many cowards. I can't stand a coward. That is the biggest turnoff to me, a coward. A cowardly spirit is demonic, actually. The Most High Yah does not like cowards. So cowards are really weak people. If you can't speak up for the underdog, if you can't speak up for things that need to be said, then woe to you cowards for shutting up at a time like this when we need more people speaking up. And I'm tired of the disrespect to people that think differently. It's so stupid. But the thing is like this whole thing with Melania, it's just something I'm observing. Like I sat back and I observed how they treated, like, say, what's her name? Michelle Obama. And, at first it was exciting. I watched everybody get really excited. It was nice. I was like, okay. I even had people tell me that I look like Michelle Obama. I was like, oh, okay. No, at first I was like really honored. Like, thank you. I don't know. She was really cool. She was wearing J. Crew clothes and they looked like the cute little couple. This was during the honeymoon of Obama. Okay. And then we got to see Michelle's personality. She doesn't have a kind personality. And we're seeing it right now on that podcast where she does nothing but make her husband look terrible. That's all she's doing. Just a boss chick, a modern woman, just spewing all the modern woman feminism garbage. And I was okay with her until, again, she started disrespecting the country. For one, remember her whole thing, everything over this flag, over the, just the disrespect. She could have put it on a show of patriotism just as a responsible thing to do. You're sitting in the White House in one of the highest positions in the whole world. You can't act with decorum for just a little bit and then go back to your gutter snipe ways when the cameras are off? Is that too much to ask? Because we don't think you're really classy. So God forbid we really think you're a class act, which she wasn't. You could look at the stuff. She even wore like shorts and like she looked like she was going to the supermarket sometimes, walking onto the helicopter, walking across the lawn of the White House, looking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Hey, Beth. Welcome. I don't see everybody right now. I'm sorry. Let me see. Maybe I can. I see you now. I did not see anybody. I was in another view. Beth, sorry. Beth said, you look nothing like Michelle Obama. She has way wide cheekbones and unattractive mouth area. Thank you, the antithesis. But you know what? I'm not even kidding, Beth. Remember in the beginning, the honeymoon with Michelle Obama, I was sort of caught up. I didn't vote for Obama. I wasn't into him at all. But I was like, okay, this might be cute. Everybody's excited. I wish I could be excited. I couldn't fake it, but I was happy for them. I was like, they got their black president. The name is weird to me because I was still in the 9/11 trauma. And I'm like, so you want a president with a name like Hussein Obama? Okay, I see. We're just forgetting everything. We're forgetful. I get it. So I was not feeling it from day one. And again, I wanted to give her some grace. But it was when I got a hold of the personality and everything, the disloyalty to America, it turned me off. Really did. And the elitism and all of that. So, yeah, but let's move on because I could talk for so long about that. What's the next slide we have up? And I know people are, with the big mic thing. I know. And hey, Joan Rivers, she said something and she's not here anymore. And it's kind of weird. So we have Nicki Minaj, who has stepped up into the public's Coliseum. Yeah, she stepped into the Coliseum so that the culture could attempt to tear her apart. But she's a strong woman. She has a lot of courage. Definitely the opposite of a coward. And she has made a decision to change. And that's the thing. When a person like her is known for one thing, I didn't listen to her music too much when she was performing in her heyday because I don't know if she's going to do any music anymore. It would be nice if she did. Hopefully she'll continue. But I don't like the over-sexualized stuff. So, I knew people enjoyed it. I knew she was a great rapper. She has great talent. beautiful, stunning, beautiful woman. So when she was really in the thick of it in her career with the rapping, I was just observing and listening, and I know that they were pitting her against other women because that's what they do in the industry. They pit you against another woman. So she's been pitted against Cardi B, against who else? I'm trying to think. Maybe Megan the Stallion, someone else. I don't know. Oh, Little Kim, is it maybe? I think her main arch nemesis in the women would be Cardi B, who is planning to do a diss track. She's looking for ghost writers as we speak, I heard. Can you imagine? She's looking for ghost writers so she can write a diss track against Nicki. But, oh well, that is what's happening to the culture, is that it's dying. The whole hip hop culture, rap, and all that, it's dying. It's dead, pretty much. K-pop has taken over, right? Am I wrong? All right, so Nicki right now is in a position to transform her life from a rapper, from a person who was in the culture, to, I don't know, she could go in a lot of directions right now. She's using her influence in a very wise way and pivoting from the rap culture. She sees the vipers that are in the industry, and you can imagine everything that she knows. She knows a lot. Just think about it. Imagine all that she knows. She's turned off from the industry, I think. I think I could probably say that. She's turned off because of the bullying. It's a lot of bullying and mean people in the industry of music. And they take advantage of talented artists, and it's terrible. It has to change. This is an industry that must be reformed. So let's turn to our next slide and see what else we have. And by the way, Nicki is wearing, I would think, a Kennedy blue gown. I think it's beautiful. Still sexy, Some women like to be sexy, but it's a way you can do it, right? And over on our side, the traditional conservative side, because I don't have to say, oh, Republican and whatever, because some of us are independent and whatever. But on the side that is not the liberal Democrat, have you noticed that the people look a certain way? It's a light that they have. When I look at the people that are on the left side that are rage demons, I call them rage demons, because every day, I don't know what it's like to be inside of a body, or, to live, to be housed, because our spirit is housed in a body. I can't imagine waking up to the rage that these people wake up to, because they turn the social media on and they wait for their For You pages to load up with things that are going to trigger them. And I guess we might all do that somewhat. I don't know, but it is not healthy. And you can see it on their countenance. They don't look well. They don't have a light to them, and they look tormented. You can see the light is gone, dead eyes, in other words. You look at people on the side of conservative values, law and order, country, God, country, family. They have just a light and a beauty, just in my opinion. So Nicki she did a summit with President Trump this week, and it was live on X. And she's making some power moves right now within the traditional spaces, and people they're taking note. So she is somebody to watch this year. And if you are a praying person, I would ask you to keep her in prayer. Keep our president, his wife, his family. Keep them in prayer. Keep all of our good people that are on the front lines of these culture wars. Just, we need to keep them in prayer. Remember to do that, please, okay? So let's look at the next slide. Hey, Paint Dance Live, you're here. And Corinne, hey, Corinne, Being Nessing is here. Okay, so you probably already put this together. Nicki Minaj has some, I'll use a term that Nipsey used. Nicki Minaj has some strong enemies, very strong enemies. And I think a lot of us have strong enemies. Her enemies are pretty strong when you think about Jay-Z, just Jay-Z alone. The things that are being said about Jay-Z, and she has squared off with Jay-Z. And she began rapid fire tweeting about Jay-Z and the things that she has grievance with. And one of them is that she states that Jay-Z owes her a lot of money, a bad deal, when he owned a company, a streaming company called Tidal. And she claims that he owes her a lot of money. I'm talking like millions. So that's not anything you can just let slide if someone owes that amount of money. So it was a bad business deal, and she is speaking out. She wants to get paid. She's not going to just let this, rest. She wants her money, and she wants things to be made right. Also, I guess she wants justice, I'll say. Justice for the things that she has observed and things that she hears and knows about the industry, the things that allegedly Jay-Z has been doing to other artists for years to suppress and blackball and do all kinds of sabotage. This is the word about Jay-Z. As well as now we are learning that Jay-Z is named, not, I shouldn't say, let me back up. We're not learning this, right? We learned this about Jay-Z already. We already heard about Jay-Z. 2019, when that lawsuit, what was the name of the woman, or it was children named Parham or something? There were some documents that got loose on the internet, and it was the case, the lawsuit against many people were named in the lawsuit, including Jay-Z, and I think Beyonce was named in it, but her name was taken out. But it was a horrific incident that was written in this lawsuit against Jay-Z and some others. And the case was, I guess, thrown out. And now we're learning that Jay-Z has been doing things in the justice system that need to be investigated. He has a lot of power in the industry, in our country. And this is something that needs to be checked. All power needs to be checked. And anyone who's abusing power in this way, it can't go on. So now we are at the reckoning, and all of the books are opened, and nobody is getting away with anything. Nobody, including Don Lemon, who is also one of Nicki's nemesis. She and Don Lemon have squared off, and she's not afraid of him. She'll say what she needs to say. She spoke up for Christians being killed in Nigeria. She used her influence to speak for people in another nation. which is commendable, because we didn't see Jay-Z or Don Lemon. I didn't recall him talking about it or using his influence to help the Nigerian Christians. He claims he's a Christian. When he went into that church in St. Paul, Minnesota, he said he's a Christian. But I don't see evidence of that. Anybody can say they're anything, but it's the fruit. And it's funny that his name is Lemon. It's the fruit, Lemon, that you produce that is in question. And everybody is not going along with the narrative anymore. They're not able to sell this narrative to a lot of the black people anymore. Don Lemon and Jay-Z are a part of the Black Boule, the entertainment arm of the Black Boule. They are given marching orders. They cannot think independently. They have to be in lockstep with the agenda. They have to get out there and say and crash out, throw their bodies and do whatever they're told to do, because they took oaths. They're in agreement with dark forces, and they have to do the bidding or else. So Don Lemon does not like Nicki Minaj. Surprise, surprise. It's going to be very interesting to watch how this unfolds with Don Lemon as we move forward. I know he's been released from the jail, as well as his accomplices. And it's not over for them. That's the thing. They can get out, but it's not over. And it's definitely not over for Don Lemon with his long pockets, because the civil lawsuits are going to pile up so much that Don Lemon will wish that he was in jail if he's not in jail. He'll wish that he was. Because that's a lot of civil lawsuits that I can imagine are going to hit Don Lemon's pockets. And defending them is not going to be a walk on the beach for him. I don't think he's going to have all that rah-rah talk that he has online right now, when he has everybody putting a battery in his back like he's the next Malcolm X. He acts like he's a revolutionary, like he really did something to fix a broken people. The black community is a broken people right now in the inner cities of the Democratic Party that he represents. But he has a blind neglect, a benign neglect towards black people, black Americans. I'll say foundational black Americans, which he is of the lineage. Just because he's of the lineage doesn't mean he's for us, of course. But he is of the FBA lineage. And I love how he used that to use the immigration thing against Nicki. And that shows the deepest hypocrisy. Don Lemon had the audacity to say that Nicki Minaj was not from America and she's not FBA and that she probably needs to be deported too. I guess something along those lines. Yeah, she might not be FBA, but she has a respect. And that's all anybody could want, is a respect. She came into this country, and I know she trolled a lot of people by making them think that she didn't have her citizenship and that President Trump was helping her. She's had all her stuff together. That was just a nice little way for her to have fun with people. and really get to see the heart of people. Because Don Lemon will weaponize his support of immigrants if it suits his agenda. For him to want Nicki Minaj to be deported is really hypocritical. When he went and put his life on the line, basically, his career, for a bunch of immigrants that don't care about him. He went against FBA code to go into a church. FBAs don't behave that way. My people don't do the stuff that he did. We don't go into churches and terrorize them, especially because it was done to our people. We had the Klan going into churches terrorizing us. You know who the Klan are? Ironically, they were the Democrats. So he's acting in conjunction with how they are. The Democrats, the Dixiecrats, they were going all through the South terrorizing FBAs, the foundational people of this land. They were burning our cities and towns and churches and everything. So for Don Lemon as an FBA to go into a church and terrorize white people, do you see the irony? It's like if you continue to hate and hate and hate and hate and rage, you will become the very thing that you hate. And that's what a lot of Black Democrats have become. They have literally become racist. And they think that they're immune from that term. For Don Lemon to target white Christians is an act of terrorism. It is not free speech. It is not the journalism that he claims that he was doing. He should be ashamed, and anyone supporting him should be ashamed, especially people that I know that grew up in church. People that I know that grew up in church have pastors in their family. I can't imagine them being okay with this because they're Democrats and they have to side, or they're in some sorority or fraternity and they have to side with this bullshit that Don Lemon did. I can't imagine what you have to do mentally, what kind of cartwheels in your brain you have to do to align with a policy like that. You do not protest inside of a church. That punk would never do that in a mosque. If he does it in a mosque, I'll give him a lot of credit. I'll say, well, he's a real patriot. He went into a mosque. But a patriot wouldn't even do that. Why would we go into a mosque? We don't do that stuff. But the thing is that if he did go into a mosque, say he's protesting Sharia law, they did something to a woman, like Honor killed a woman in Michigan or something, and say he wanted to protest that. I mean, people might be okay with that if it wasn't violent, or maybe outside of the church, hold your signs like, please don't do honor killings. I don't know. That might be something that would be halfway understandable. But to go into a house of worship and these people are quiet and peaceful and minding their business. That's what people do inside of houses of worship. They're minding their business. Now, when they come outside of the church, if you want to, I don't know, have a word with them, I don't see why you should still. There's no way I can excuse what he did. I guess that's it. He's really screwed. He's not only screwed in our legal system, he's screwed with the Most High Yah. He's got to take that up with God because he claimed he was a Christian. So he's got to work a lot of stuff out. And it's not going to be easy for Don going forward. And all these friends that he has that are celebrating his fake victory or whatever he claimed that he did, all those fake friends of his, when his ass is really in a sling, let me see where they are, if they'll stand by him. Because that's what I like to watch. How loyal are those people that are cheering with him? Because my bet is they're going to leave his ass right in a ditch when he becomes a real pariah. They'll turn on him. Yes, they will. There's no brotherhood in that crap. No true brotherhood. Not at all. Next slide. Yeah, Wyoming chick. He's definitely not a Christian. So I wanted to show where Don Lemon, he had this. I guess these are going to be his life photographs that become, I guess he thinks that he's going to be written up in history in a good way. So you can see his white husband walking him, making a real strong show of it. And Don doesn't, I don't know, in that picture, he looks a little worried. That's his white knight in shining armor coming to save his damsel, his white knight. And let me tell you about the irony and the hypocrisy of this situation, this interracial marriage that he is in. And by the way, the other picture with his husband in the car, they're going to one of those white parties, that Diddy used to host. But now that Diddy's in jail, it's Michael Rubin, who's a Philadelphia John. But Mike Rubin has the mantle now of the white party. So that's Don Lemon and his husband driving up to the white party. You see, they're in white. So I just want you to know, he rubbed shoulders with the likes of Diddy and Jay-Z and all of the, celebrities. He's a celebrity journalist. Let's just say what it is. So he's in the mix. And the fact that he's married to a white man is the most ironic thing about it, because he talks about white men like dogs. He's obsessed with white men. And my thing is, like, the mental gymnastics that a person has to go through. How do you do it? I don't know. How is it done? You talk about your hatred of white men, yet you are married to a white man. Where do they do that? This is weird. And the people that support him, they don't see the hypocrisy in it. I don't get it. It's like these people are really allergic to truth. And they can live in delusion, and they go along to get along. They have to get along in their group. Being by themselves is probably tantamount to death. They cannot be an individual. It's clear to me. They cannot be a part of, away from their group. That gives them oxygen, I guess. But to let Don Lemon play in your face like that, married to a white man, is just insanity. And his husband, how does he stand by and watch his husband just act this way? And he's okay with it. But, a lot of white liberal men like that, they have a lot of white guilt, white savior complex, white, all this stuff that they have. So maybe he's on that thing. I don't know. But there you are. His white knight. Next slide. Okay. So the Epstein list is out. I know a lot of us are fatigued because we've already seen the Epstein list. We didn't see a lot of the details of the emails, of course. Some of us did see more. I saw more than I wanted to see, and I think I'm still traumatized by some of the stuff I saw. back in what, 2019, 2016, I guess we could say. A lot of us started this, what do you call it? I don't know, rabbit hole experiment project in 2016, pretty much. Maybe some of you earlier, but definitely by 2017, we were pretty much inundated with back channel stuff. And I don't know how you feel about it today. I know I had a person recently come into my comments on Facebook and say that, a lot of people are being blackpilled right now, and they feel like maybe, the truther movement was a big psyop. That's what this person was basically saying. Like, she was saying that maybe I didn't get to watch. She posted a link for me to watch, but somebody was talking about, I guess a lot of it was a trap for, I could see that being the case for some people, and it all depends on your intentions and what you want to do in terms of America. If you have America's best interests, if you have Americans' best interests, and you're not a traitor, you put America first, and you're just a decent person, I don't think that you have to worry about being in a trap. It's people that live a double life. They're the only people who have to worry about any traps. So I would say not to worry about things like that, and be mindful and cautious not to be blackpilled, because it's a lot happening. You have to see that. I can't imagine if anybody feels like nothing's happening. Remember, people, nothing's happening. I don't see anything. I'm like, whoa, maybe you need my glasses here. Because, woo, my sight is pretty good here from my standpoint. I see a lot happening. Paint, Dance, Live. You said a whole decade. I can't take the black pillars now. No hope, no nothing, nada. Yeah, I guess. And I was talking to Karen about this. I believe I was talking to you, Karen, about this, about being early to knowledge. It's hard to be early. And when I think back on the people, remember the people, if you grew up in a city and, like me, you would see the people with the sandwich boards. Remember, you get off the subway and the people are there with the sandwich boards. The end is near. You remember those people? The end is near. Can you imagine how they're doing now? They're not doing well, because they've been saying the end is near for 40, 50 years or longer. That has to be a black pill right there. The end is near. Because that was a great misunderstanding about the end. I'll say for me, my understanding of the end was all wrong. The end, in terms of how I see it now, is the beginning, right? The end is really the beginning for those who love the Most High Yah. The end is the beginning. Okay? I really see it. The end for these people that we're looking at, that's really the end. That's a scary place for them. They are crashing out. They are desperate, pulling desperate moves. They are cornered like animals. They are trying to run and hide. A lot of them can't even run and hide because they're so tied to the industry. They have contracts. Jay-Z, where's he going to run? He's got the Super Bowl coming up soon. He's got Bad Bunny, who's going to be jumping around in a dress during halftime. So where's Jay-Z going to run? Now that his name has been, exposed on the Epstein list, where's he going to go? He's got to be shitting bricks right now. I would if I were Jay-Z. I got 99 problems, okay? If I was Jay-Z, I would be thinking like at any minute they're going to just clip me up. because they clipped Don Lemon up at an event in Los Angeles. They went and got Don Lemon while he was hobnobbing with Hollywood. But I think they went to his hotel room at 3 a.m. Let me tell you, if you're in trouble and the boys are about to get you, they don't come at a convenient time. They come when you washed all your makeup off and you got your bonnet on and your ugly pajamas with holes in them. They come when you're snoring that ugly sleep. That's when the knock on the door comes. Yeah, right? You saw that journalist, what's her name? I forget her name. What was that lady's name? Major Georgia something. She got locked up with Don Lemon, and she was in her house like, where's the warrant? I was told I didn't have to. No, you're going, honey. You're going. When the boys show up, you better get your clothes on and go, because there's no negotiating at that point. She was told wrong. And that's the thing. A lot of these people are misinformed. Don Lemon needs to read the Constitution, and he needs to stop listening to people that don't know what they're talking about, because he got it all wrong. Even like a fifth grader could tell you that you don't do that. Isn't that crazy? A fifth grader knows better. So we're looking at right now a time that, again, a lot of us, we already knew who was on the Epstein list. So we weren't crying like, release the list. I wanted it to be released, but it's not so much I want it to be released. I want something to be done. Like, it's okay, like you're releasing it, but yeah, what's going to be done? And I know we want to see justice and the patience that is needed, because justice takes time, because these people are given chances. The Most High Yah is very merciful. He gives us lots of opportunities to repent. And we don't know what it's like for these people. They may have had relationships with Yah and they turned away and rebelled. I would think that most of these people that you're looking at right now, even Aleister Crowley, from what I understand, wasn't he a preacher's kid, Aleister? So Aleister Crowley knew better. Yeah, he knew. Most of these people know better. They were taught the right path. I also understand that Jay-Z's, I think his grandfather may have been a pastor. And you know that Ray J had to go to somebody's church. Ray J had to darken the door of a church 1 or 2 times in his life. He knows better. And Diddy, he knew better. Diddy knew better. Diddy was hanging out, playing around with Yah. He was playing with God's name. He was down there with T.D. Jakes, sitting in that church, playing games, while doing voodoo tattoos on his back. That's what I mean, playing games with God. That's a dumb thing to do. That's a dummy mission right there. Because what? You're going to put a voodoo tattoo on your back and you're going to sit up here playing church with T.D. Jakes. Okay, we're going to see how that turns out for him. Aleister Crowley was a rebel. Like I said, I believe his father was a pastor. And look at what he contributed to the world. I think Jay-Z is very influenced by the works of Aleister Crowley. And here he is bumping heads with a Ukrainian witch, Marina, spirit cooking bitch. What is Marina? Whatever. I can't say her name anymore. I haven't said it in a while. But Marina, the spirit cooking witch. Abramovic, that's it. Marina Abramovic. And from what I heard, they may have fell out over money. Isn't that ironic? It's like you're worshiping the devil. You're supposed to be so edgy, but you fall out with the witch over some money. You know, I guess Negroes are going to be Negroes, okay? You're not going to pay the witch. Maybe she put a freaking spell on you. Who knows? You want to pay your witch? If you owe the witch some money, you better pay her. More money and more problems, right? So Jay-Z is a clown. They sold their soul, yeah, for fame. And the thing about fame, it's very quick. It's a flash. And I hope they enjoyed it when it was there. I think Beyonce enjoyed her fame. I think she had a good run. They called her a queen. They had a church service, a mass for her. So she did pretty well with the fame game. It's just going to be sad to see how things go from here. Because from here, it's on downward. They went up to the highest pinnacle. Now they have to fall down. And that's going to be sad to watch. Very sad to watch. Some of you might be laughing and eating popcorn. Oh boy, we knew this day was going to come, but I don't know. Sometimes I could be a little bit of a softy and feel sorry for people, but I don't feel sorry for these people. But anyway, let's go on. So, Nicki Minaj, like I said, she's a real courageous woman. I love brave people. And she's been putting these people in their place for quite some time. And I guess we didn't know where this was going. But she did a live stream a while back with Ray J. And she was just basically just boldly telling him about himself and asking him really wild questions. He was confused. I think it just threw him off point. He's such a clown, and she was just basically letting him make a fool of himself. So Ray J right now is sick. He claims that he's about to die and that his heart is working at just 25%. And he was on a live stream telling people about that he's about to kick the bucket. And a lot of people are talking about things that they believe about Ray J. He's very dialed in. I would say that he's very close with Clive Davis. He's very close with Diddy. He's in this circle very deep. And he's been sent on a lot of dummy missions to distract and put narratives out in the culture. And he has some pretty sketchy things about him. Some people believe that he took part in the death of Whitney Houston. Some people say, allegedly, they believe that he also had something to do with maybe Wendy Williams, because he was hanging out with these two older women. And he has a bad reputation if you listen to what people say about him. It's not good. And we know that he's the reason that we have to deal with the Kardashians. So just think about that. You know, I keep talking to the issue of the foundational Black Americans. And Ray J is also a part of that lineage, foundational Black Americans, as well as Jay-Z. I'm not sure about Diddy. I think he looks Somalian to me. I'm not sure if he's a foundational Black American. But I could say, I think Jay-Z, Beyonce she is a Creole foundational Black American. Okay? So, and then, her father, foundational. She's one of the lineage, and Jay-Z and Diddy is questionable, and Ray J. Okay? So Ray J, when you think about it, he is the reason, and this is not hyperbole when I say this. Ray J is the reason that we have the Kardashians. It's him. I'm not kidding. Think about it. If he did not do that sex tape with Kim Kardashian, we wouldn't have the Kardashians. So okay, go with me on a limb because I like this sort of thinking thought experiment. Let's go on a thought experiment. Kim Kardashian became famous because of a sex tape with Ray J. Ray J, if he had been any other race, like say if he were a white man, or if he were an African from any of the African nations, or if he were Caribbean, like a Jamaican or Cuban or any other island nation, or if he were Puerto Rican or Dominican or Haitian, if he had been any of those ethnicities and lineages, it wouldn't have worked out for Kim Kardashian. It wouldn't have been, do you see what I'm saying? It wouldn't have had the impact. It had to be a foundational Black American. That's it because it caused it was taboo for one. You know, it's the whole interracial thing and it's a taboo and they're having sex and the whole thing. So it made for curiosity because they say this tape still sells to the millions every year or every month. It makes them a lot of money. I'm not sure about Ray J if he got cut off well for the tape, but my point is if it only could be an FBA that could have given Kim the clout to parlay that into a career that she has now as a billionaire, it all stemmed from a sex tape with this man. I think there's something to that. Because it wouldn't have worked with any other, like I said, it wouldn't have. So, again, just wanted to say that. Another thing about Ray J, he claims that he's going to go to Haiti to get a cure so that he can live longer. He's going to Haiti to go to a voodoo witch doctor to get healing. That means like, okay, he's not going to go to anyone here in America. He could find a doctor that would agree with, I don't know, what is he doing spiritually? Is he sick spiritually? I don't think going to a voodoo witch doctor is going to help him. It's probably going to make him worse. So we might witness him going into a whole different downward spiral, playing around with this stuff that foundational Black Americans are not supposed to touch. But they keep touching this stuff that they're not supposed to. We're not supposed to because I did it too. I had to repent. And that's why I'm saying these people are given enough mercy to repent. That's why it might take a little time to see justice. Let's look at the next slide. This is going to be a while. I'm really taking a long time. This is going to be long. My goodness. I'm just getting started. I hope you can hang out. Okay, so Nicki Minaj is getting a lot of hate right now, which a lot of us get because we don't think like the mob, the rage demons, so we don't think like them. They hate you. They want to come into your comment section and say stupid shit. And so Nicki Minaj is going through that as well. And she's going through it like
in a big way. Can you imagine? She's losing fans and then she's gaining fans. The difference with what's going to happen with Nicki, if she could, I know she's not worried or anything, but if I were to talk to her, I would tell her that I think you're going to end up getting more fans in the long run because people are tired of the wokeness, the retardation of the left. The black boule has lost a lot of their influence. People are tired of it. And they don't agree with the narratives. They're like, this is too crazy. I don't agree with these blue haired, septum nose tattooed weirdos out in the street spitting at federal officers, going into churches. That's disgusting. A lot of us don't align with that. That's so low class, low vibrational. It's like savage, uncouth. So Waka Flocka, if you remember the rapper Waka Flocka, he let Nicki know that he's still in her corner. So shout out to that gentleman, that brother. That was a really good thing to do. A lot of people support her, though. A lot. Next slide. So the issue of Vogue and how the covers have been done. We know that first ladies are given covers, and Vogue hasn't been fair towards Melania. At first, when she married Donald Trump, they had her on the cover and she was okay. It was when he became president that everything changed. So she's had people turn on her so bad, it's been crazy. And they did not want her to be on the cover. Nicki was on the cover of Vogue. But what's interesting about this cover that Nicki was on, let me tell you about this. Nicki was on this cover in 2003, 23. It was entitled The Art of Being Nicki Minaj. Vogue magazine, November 9th, 2023. Let me just read this first opening paragraph to you. And just check the irony. Okay, this is the Vogue article. On an evening in late August, just as Donald Trump is getting booked on 13 felony charges at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta, a sherbet sunset in the western sky casts Santa Monica Boulevard in a Nicki Minaj pink blush. But Nicki has no time on this day for politics, nor for the soft summer tints gathering outside the windowless sound booth of a Los Angeles recording studio. So I wanted to read that because even in a fashion article that's not about Donald Trump, Vogue magazine, who's the writer? This is written by Rob Haskell. I've heard his name, right? Rob Haskell. The Art of Being Nicki Minaj. So why would a piece about Nicki Minaj have Donald Trump in the very opening sentence? Just as Donald Trump is getting booked on 13 felony charges at Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. Why? See, that's what people are tired of. It's not necessary. It shows that this magazine has become so politically rancid and corrupt. I could never look into a magazine. I used to love magazines. I haven't had an interest in looking at one. I was so turned off by Vogue magazine when they went full woke and dark and demented and demonic. And all of the magazines followed suit. They became leftist propaganda arms of the Democratic Party. And Anna Wintour was a big part of that. Anna Wintour wasn't kind to Melania. And Melania had to call Anna Wintour out on her bullshit, by the way. And Vogue magazine is not even worthy of me putting it in my cat's litter box. Next slide. So we're looking at something right now. I'm still formulating what is it that we're looking at. What is it? Who plays chess here? Next slide. Who plays chess? Anybody out there? Woke magazines, yes. Because they have TDS. Just can't help themselves, right? Wyoming chick, exactly. So the first family, of course, there are more children that are part of the first family, but they're all, they're grown and they live in their own families and homes. But Barron was the young sibling that was still at home, and now he is grown up and he's in college. And it's interesting to watch the children grow up in the White House. Just to think he was such a little guy like this. This picture was always fascinating. What do you all think about when we had this solar eclipse? It's just it's a fun picture. Next slide. Hey, RPC Music, you said I think that was a king and queen. Was it two queens? I thought it was two queens. I might be wrong, but that's what I thought. Okay, so in terms of you play, Paint Dance Live said I play, my dad taught me. Yeah? Corinne, your son, but you have a hard time playing chess? Yeah? Well, President Trump taught Barron to play chess. And I want you all to think about that again, because we haven't thought about this. I haven't in a minute, like some of these little details that I used to think about and put together with certain things. So Barron is a really, he's a good chess player. Really good. He might be a master chess player. He is a very observant young man, and he's very protective of his mother, as many sons are, as they should be. You don't want to mess with the son's mother. That's not a good idea. Next slide. So I wanted to show Melania's mom and dad. So her parents are nice looking people. She's from Slovenia, and her mother died just a year ago. I think about a year ago, maybe 2 now. Is it going on 2? Well, in this picture, during President Carter's funeral, his memorial, she went, and it was the 1-year anniversary of her mother's death. And she was very close with her mother. And you can see a lot of times we don't know the backstory. A lot of people were criticizing her for the way she was sitting there, and they read into a lot of it. And what I learned and what we learned from her documentary, and yeah, you already know I'm going to talk about some of it. So yeah, spoiler alert here. If you're planning on watching it, I'm not going to give a lot of it away, but I just want to talk about some of it. This was the 1-year anniversary on the day of her mother's death. So she's at a funeral on the anniversary of her mother's death, the first anniversary. So how do you expect her to look? She's human after all. So she's sitting there keeping her composure. She's a very elegant woman, very classy, and very graceful. So just to know she was suffering. And Obama is there talking to President Trump, and that was quite a image to see for a lot of people that are obsessed with Obama. I know they were angry at him talking and having a nice conversation. It looks like they're laughing and it looks enjoyable. So people didn't like that. They don't really want unity. They want to keep this divide because they are demonically inspired. They don't want solutions. They thrive on rebellious, revolutionary, all the things that Lucifer did. They're into, that's their spirit of Lucifer. That's the Democratic Party, the spirit of Lucifer that they're operating in. So Michelle Obama, like I mentioned earlier with the podcast that she has where she makes Obama look so stupid that even people that don't like Obama are taking up for him. Even I feel some kind of way when I hear the shit she talks on that podcast. I'm like, damn, why does she say that about him? I don't like him, but you don't like the disrespect also. I cannot stand when a woman disrespects her husband. I have literally stopped talking to a person over that. Witnessing her disrespect her husband in front of me, that is such a turnoff. I've had two friends in the past that would disrespect their husbands in front of their friends. Have you had that happen where you have a friend who talks to their husband like a dog in front of you and you're just there like, what the hell? And that, I don't like that. Any woman who does that, it is not impressive to me. You look like a witch. You look like I'm thinking everything bad about you. And I don't even want to be around you if you treat your husband abusively. That's not a boss move, boss woman, modern woman. So Michelle Obama didn't show up to President Jimmy Carter's funeral. She didn't show up. Obama had to walk in there by himself. And that looked terrible, by the way. That looked terrible. And that's how the Democrats and the modern women and feminists, that's how they are. They're very selfish. She couldn't just go through this just for the sake of the country. For her to be seen with her husband and a site of unity to honor a former president. We're not even concerned about political parties. We're just looking at the fact that President Carter died. Any living presidents and the first ladies should be there. She was the FLOTUS for 8 years. She was able to parlay that position to write all of her stupid books and do all of that based on her influence. She could just write a book and it sells out. But she doesn't appreciate the fact that that position gave her that privilege, being the first lady. How many people get to experience that? And this bitch doesn't even appreciate something like that. She acts like a woman who has a grievance every damn day. This bitch lives in houses all over the place. Martha's Vineyard, all over the fucking country. And she has a grievance? How dare her? Anybody would wish that they could have some kind of opportunity like that to represent the best country in the world. It's a shameful thing, and it shows that she's a gutter snipe. She has no class. And those very same people that worship her dirty ass, they hate Melania. They hate Melania. Here, Melania is sitting here suffering. This is the day that her mother died, and she could bring herself to the funeral. But ugly ass Michelle Obama, she had to stay home. Her selfish ass. That's why she's so ugly, because she's ugly inside. And again, I don't like Obama, and I didn't like the disrespect for her not to show up. Next slide. Guess I might need a little water. So I wanted to show the very beautiful area of the world that Melania comes from, Slovenia. And I met a person when I worked up in New York City at Barnard College. I met a beautiful, I worked with this beautiful woman. She was a little older, but she was so sweet. It was like she was an adopted sister, a big sister to me. And she just took me under her wing and showed me the ropes at the job, and we became close. I hope she's doing well, but I know she wanted to go back home. She had come to America because her husband wanted to come. And she didn't want to leave Slovenia. She told me how beautiful it was. She would show me these kind of pictures, and it looked just like this. And, from her pictures, and the life that she lived there, it was very slow and just beautiful, not the fast pace, hustle and bustle, and just the natural beauty, fresh food, not all the poisons and all of the things that they do here. But even though she did want to go home, she still appreciated being here and respected the country. She was a good work friend. But this is the area of Slovenia, and it's amazing. I see in this one picture, it looks like the mud flood, right? Do you see it? The mud flood. Look at that. Next slide. So these are more pictures of Slovenia. You can see the nice marketplace and outdoor dining. I love the look of it, and it looks like a hamlet. And I just love canalways. I would love to live in a place where you can ride a little personal canal all around. Not a canal, but ride along the canal in a little boat. Little personal boats, right? Wouldn't that be cute? I feel like I've done that in another life or something. I don't know. Like when I look at the pictures of the World's Fairs, and you see how the cities and the places used to look like Chilaga, where I was born in Chilaga, the area, Lake Michigan area. I was born outside of Chicago. So Chilaga had a lot of canalways in the ancient American topography. So a lot of waterways that you could ride the little boats all through. So they were like your car. So a lot of people, that's why we didn't have a big automotive industry at one point, because transportation was vastly different. It used to be canals and little boats and airships and trains, steam engine trains, right? So that was the old world, which seems like the new world when I think about it. I'd love to go back to that. And you can see the dragon on the building. Some people believe that there were really dragons at one time. People had pet dragons. You could look at some of the classic old paintings and you'll see the women holding little dragons. Would you like to have a pet dragon? I don't know. Next slide. My cats act like dragons sometimes. So here we are, Mar-a-Lago. I want to get into Mar-a-Lago in depth at another time. I want to go down the rabbit hole of Mar-a-Lago because Palm Beach and Florida in general is very fascinating. I've spent a lot of time over on Palm Beach. I used to spend a lot of time in West Palm Beach, and so I would go over to Palm Beach a lot. I never went to Mar-a-Lago, but I would pass by it a lot. And I just never got a chance to go in. I should have had lunch or something. I'm kicking myself that I didn't do that when I was spending a lot of time down there. The property is beautiful. The history of the property is very fascinating. Palm Beach is a fascinating place. I have a cousin-in-law who used to write, or he may still write, for the Palm Beach Post. And he did research on Palm Beach, the history of Palm Beach. I'm talking antebellum history. And the people that lived there were foundational Black Americans lived over there on Palm Beach. And it did not look that way, maybe. I don't know what it looked like in the ancient American times, but there were a lot of the tribes of Florida, as they call them. They reclassified people so much. But my cousin-in-law said that there was like a fair or something that was going on in West Palm Beach. And somehow they got the people that were over on Palm Beach to leave and go over to West Palm Beach. And he said that they literally closed the bridge off and cut them off from their land, like a long time ago, like basically took the land like a trick. And it makes me think about the World's Fairs. What were they really? What was really going on in terms of land acquisition of America? Because there were 7 nations that invaded old America, a confederacy of 7 nations. So the overtaking of America was very complex. It wasn't just one group. It was 7 nations that invaded in different points. Very coordinated. Next slide. So the woman that initially had the Mar-a-Lago estate, her name was Meriwether Post. So she was the heiress of the Post cereal company in Battle Creek, Michigan, right? The story of the Post cereal company is bizarre. Her father, I think, was C.W. Post, and they began in the 1800s. They say January 1st, 1895 is when Post cereal was created. And the story is bizarre about C.W. Post. He had like several nervous breakdowns and moved around, and then he founded this big company. Of course, the narrative is very sketchy. But it's interesting that, she had the property. She was a philanthropist and just really active. And she was active in, I think, Mount Vernon also, the preservation of Mount Vernon. So this is, again, like I said, it's a longer, deeper rabbit hole that I would like to go down. So Mrs. Meriwether Post, I guess she gave the property maybe to I don't know. I didn't read the whole story. I forget it. But President Trump got the property for a song. And that shows you what a good businessman he is, because he got the property for a really good price. And look at what he's done to it. So, yeah, so fascinating stuff. Next slide. Now look at the interior of Mar-a-Lago and the gold, just the frequency of this place. And it has the Moorish architectural details. Amazing. When I look at this, it's just stunning. Anybody that lives like this, you can't tell me a lot of negativity about them. Anybody who can maintain a property of this high, elevated order, you cannot tell me that they are anything but a sound mind, a solid person, a good person. Because in order to maintain this level of elegance and beauty, you have to have the mindset to maintain something on this level. It's not a lot of people that could do it. I'll just say that. You have to be made of something very special and different to maintain something like this, because this is breathtaking. And President Trump has done such an honorable thing to preserve this landmark in America. And he has actually improved it. Everything he touches is like a Midas touch, the golden touch. He says that America is in a golden age right now. And that might scare a lot of people. They start thinking, oh, what did that mean? That means what? I'm decoding it. Shut up and go with it. Aren't you ready for something different? Why can't we start declaring it? That we are in our golden age. We are in it. We are in the Jubilee. Start declaring it. We can't keep declaring black-pilled narratives. We can't do that. We can't keep going around in a circle, pinning the tail on the Antichrist and expecting an Antichrist to come on the scene. We have to stop it. And the tribulation and the end is coming. The end is coming. The end has been coming for 50 fucking years. I'm tired of listening to the end is coming. I've been caught up in that all my life. And the end has not come. But right now, again, we're in this is different right now. And again, I want to repeat, my understanding of the end is the beginning. It is the beginning for those who love the Most High Yah. That is the key. Wyoming Chick says, I'm curious about yes, I am too. I see them all together different now. So let's look at the next slide. The Golden Age, the Renaissance, all of those things. It's cyclical. We have to go into that time. We can't keep sustaining the opposite of a Renaissance, a degradation. We cannot let our civilization continue to slide into corruption. It's up to all of us to stop it in our own way. We can all do our part. Next slide. So Melania Trump, our FLOTUS, is the lady of this home. She is the queen of this castle, in other words. Since we like to use the term queen all the time, well, she's a queen. And since people love to use queen and throw that all around, they don't recognize that this woman is a queen. She's literally living in a castle. I don't know why people can't get into the positivity of this all, of just the aesthetics. Let me tell you, I love aesthetics. I was born in September 26th. I love a good aesthetic. I'm a sucker for aesthetics, if you haven't noticed. And Melania Trump is giving aesthetics for days. This woman is a class act. Nobody can change my mind. I don't care what they say. Oh, she was a model. She posed nude. Well, some of their mothers probably did worse. Next slide. Hey, Juan. Juan is here. Yes. Juan. Welcome, Juan. I love to see when you hang out. The chatmosphere is complete. Now, I don't know who else has joined, but I'm glad to see you, Juan. Thank you. Okay, so I love tile work. Love tile work. And Mar-a-Lago has a lot of tile work. You know, when you think of Majolica, the stuff that comes out of Portugal and those areas, the Moorish, I guess they call it the Moorish influence, the tile work. The tile work inside Mar-a-Lago is so beautiful. There is something interesting, however, with this tile work. And I talked about this in 2020, if you remember. Some of the chatmosphere remembers. It would take a long time to explain this. Plus ultra is something very deep. Plus ultra that is inside on these tiles. It's a very special group, I'll say. We'll talk about it another time. Next slide. It would just take too much time to talk about, but I want to point it out. When I was watching the Melania's film, she was walking up some stairs, like a few little steps. Inside of the step, when you're walking up the steps, it had this tile, the griffins. And I noticed it right away. You know, she's walking, you see her heels that she notoriously walks on. She walks on heels like they are flats, like 5-inch, what are they, 5-inch heels. She just, that alone is like, oh my goodness, take your hat off to this woman, because she walks in those heels all the time. I think that they feel normal to her. She's just that elegant. So I respect it, because I cannot walk in heels at all. I would love to know the secret. So we have the griffin. And the griffin is a very significant symbol, a lion, right? Next slide. I love the colors also. It makes me think of Jubilee, like the orange. I know they call him Orange Man. It's like gold, right? Gold Man. They should be calling him Gold Man. So here's just some more pictures of him standing in this palatial architecture and interior that is out of this world. stunning. The tapestries, the details, the lighting fixtures, everything. And Melania has a lot to do with the aesthetics. She's very detailed, has a good eye, really hands on, amazing mind. Just, I was very impressed from watching the documentary. I was very impressed with her. I was already impressed, but I was more impressed after this. Next slide. Now, Melania, she had some good music, okay? I was in there bopping. It was some good music, right? Whoever saw it, she likes good music. And she loves Michael Jackson. That's her favorite musician. And I was touched by that. I was really touched by that. So she loves Michael Jackson. Next slide. She likes Michael Jackson so much that this was a ode to Michael Jackson, a little nod to him when she wore this outfit, very amazing cream, monochromatic look. And she's a hat girl. My mother is a hat girl, and I love hats, a good hat. And Melania is a hat girl. And she's just, that just lets you know she is so classy. It's just off the charts. Iconic. And you would think that all the people that claim to hate her, they did not think that this photo shoot was the bomb. This is so dope right here. But they don't like her, so they missed out on all of this dopeness. That's their loss. Next slide. I enjoy a good aesthetic. Now, this woman right here, we all know about her. I talked about her before. This horrible woman hates Melania. This is Lynn. Remember I talked about Lynn before? Lynn is horrible. So Lynn is one of the mean girls that blocked Melania from being featured in Vogue magazine. Lynn does not like Melania. I think she said something about Melania. I forget something about. Can you imagine Lynn has the audacity to say anything about Melania? Like what? So this is what I'm talking about. These are the people that oppose traditional values. They are Democrats. When you look at the Democratic Party, this is the face of it. I don't know how black Democrats are okay with being in alignment with these people. But this is the party of loonballs. And all of them hate Trump. That's how you know what side they're on. They hate Trump. They're unreasonable. They can't even give him credit for one thing. Now, when Joey Bribes was in office, we didn't hate him. He was funny. I just it was funny to watch him somewhat until it got unfunny. I was actually advocating for him because I thought it was elder abuse, and I'm a mandated reporter, so I was reporting all over the internet. This is elder abuse. Stop it. Leave that man alone and let him go home and eat pudding. It was horrible. And his ice cream. We actually felt for this man, even though he messed the country up and brought all these invaders in and all the dumb shit that he did. We still didn't want to see him abused. And we weren't trying to assassinate him and cause a... We didn't even have any protests, right? Because Republicans are too busy with their businesses and jobs and their families to go out in the streets and crash out and go into churches and protest. Only these idiots do stuff like this. They think it's okay to be about chaos and rebellion. We are about law and order. You can look at a woman like this. She's not about law nor order. She looks so disordered. But she has the nerve to have power to keep Melania off of the covers and out of Vogue. She has power. The wrong people have power in this culture. And these kind of people have to be relieved of their power at this point. She probably belongs somewhere with people just like her, monitored, medicated maybe. You could see Melania down there having a word with Anna Wintour, the Devil Wears Prada herself. Next slide. There's Melania in those heels. How tall are those heels, people? Give me an inch that you think these heels are, because she walks on them like she's walking on a cloud. Remember when she went, it was something that happened, it was a disaster or something, and she came in that really nice coat. It was a coat. She was being casual. Even in her casualness, she still put together so well. She had like a cap on, a nice jacket, slacks, and she had those heels on, and she's walking across like wet grass. I'm thinking this woman can walk in those heels in wet grass, anything, and it's amazing. So Melania has given life back to the designer Hervé Lagier. Do you remember Hervé Lagier? His name was all the rage. I think he maybe did some work for maybe Jackie O. So she has worked with him and her team of designers. And when you're watching the movie, you can see how she has such just her level of detail and knowledge about garments and what works for her is science. She's very intelligent woman. And I love that outfit she wore during the first inaugural, that it was a nod to Camelot, JFK, and Jackie. Next slide. And these are just some of her looks that it's just so many good looks. They could do, Michelle Obama, in fact, has a book, a coffee table book on her fashions, which is what? I can't even imagine her. Now, Melania could have a thick coffee table book of all of these fashions, and it would be phenomenal. Maybe Melania would let me do that book. Wouldn't that be fun? I could hire a great photographer. Or no, we already have the pictures. You just put them together in a book. Oh my goodness, that would be a great idea. Do all of her fashions just as a capsule, a fashion capsule. I think her book would be fire in a fashion capsule, right? All right, so Melania is very fashionable. Do I have a next slide, or is that it? That might be it. Oh no, this dress. This was the star of the show, of the movie. Like, wow. Amazing. It defies, I mean, just look at this. This is very advanced crafts and architecture for a garment. Still, no appreciation in the culture for this. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So that was fun to watch, the preparing of this dress and the what it took to get it, to the final draft. It was nice to witness. I love fashion. Next slide. Do I have another? Is that it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, seems like, when queens start to work together, some good things can happen, maybe, right? I don't know. I like that picture. I was like, huh, it's saying something to me. Next slide. So, chess, again, we're looking at chess in real time. Some moves that they've been made over a long course of time. And we're now down to some final moves, I think. What do you think? Next slide. So, I learned to play chess when I was a child, actually. And I just want to wrap it up by thanking you for joining. Thank you. And anybody who's watching on the replay, thank you. I want to say this, ending this stream. I find Melania and Nicki to be inspiring right now. Whenever I see people pile on against a person, I don't like it. It makes me want to join that person and stand with them against the riot mob, the rage demons, the angry mob. That's what they look like. You think it's coming to close to checkmate? I agree. Yeah, I agree. And the hypocrisy of the left, the Democrats, the liberals, to not embrace these two women who are immigrant women, which is the irony of this whole thing. Melania is an immigrant who came to America. She is American. She is a wonderful addition to our nation. And she loves America. The way that America has treated her is shameful, especially the people that are against her. They are such hypocrites because they are fighting and rebelling against law and order to keep people who broke the law to come to the country. So the people were already unlawful. And these people are fighting to keep unlawful people here. Yet Melania, an immigrant who came here the right way, learned English, and contributes to our nation in a vast way. She's not taking. She doesn't have her hand out. She has given. And why can't they honor that, since they claim to have a heart for the foreigner, the immigrant? I'm not against immigrants. I have been very open-armed to people who immigrate to America. I've been very welcoming. It's the illegal alien that I am against, and I will never be okay with it. I want every last one of them to leave my country. This is my land. I want them out. I want them the fuck out. Every last fucking one of them out. In the name of the Most High Yah, out. In Jesus Christ's name, out. And they will get out. It's going to be very uncomfortable for anybody. They're all uncomfortable. It's very cold. America's going to get very cold for these people. They're going to want to leave. I wouldn't want to stay somewhere where I wasn't wanted, and where every day online they are talking about how ugly my people are, how retarded and low IQ and inbred. I wouldn't want to be somewhere where that's how the people felt. What kind of retard would want to stay somewhere where they're not wanted? And the people literally are starting to hate them. Like, the sentiment is quickly turning to hate against these people. So they are going to leave, as well as all of them from all nations that are here illegally. It's going to get very cold for you. Yeah. Very cold. So go home into your warm nations. A lot of you are from beautiful, warm nations. Just go clean it and sweep it up a little bit. Clean up. So you can stay and love your own birthplace where your ancestors are buried in the land over there. My ancestors are buried here for generations. I could go to graveyards today and my ancestors are in the ground right here. All over the nation. I got dead relatives in Los Angeles to Philadelphia, all over the South. They're buried all in this ground. Chicago, everywhere. In the ground. Planted like seeds. Waiting for the resurrection, right? The resurrection, the restoration that's coming, the Jubilee. We are headed for some good, like, golden days for those who love the Lord and law and order. Anybody who doesn't love the Lord, doesn't love law and order, it will not go well for them. Period. That's all. They could argue with their mama over that, but they're not going to change the outcome of rebellion. It never turns out well. Never. So on that note, I want to say happy Jubilee to you beautiful patriots from all around the world, because you can still be a patriot. You don't have to be American, because I love all of the patriots from all over the world. We are in alignment. We believe in law and order. We believe in truth and beauty and honor and dignity, cleanliness. And that's what Melania represents when I look at her. She's a high level person, high class. I can't say it enough. High class. She's beautifying things. She's so, I know you guys think she's like from another planet. She's so beautiful. She looks like a feline, right? Her eyes have that cat look, and she's so graceful like a feline. And she just does seem otherworldly. It's that kind of beauty. In fact, you know what? Melania was friends with Puffy's old late girlfriend. Not old, but his late girlfriend that died mysteriously, Kim Porter. From what I understand, Melania knew her from the modeling days and probably just social circles. And Kim Porter was another beautiful woman. I ran into Kim Porter a long time ago in Atlanta, in Buckhead. I talk about this story. It was in one of those real fancy gourmet markets, and she walked in. And when I tell you, she looked like somebody from another realm. She was so beautiful in person. Now, this is before Puffy broke her allegedly broke her nose. Maybe I'll just say allegedly. You know all the stories of we hear about him planting his fist in her beautiful face, which a lot of those men do. When you stay with a man who wants to beat you in the face, he's trying to take your beauty. Happy Jubilee to you. But what I was saying about Kim Porter, she was so stunning in person. It was like I couldn't. It was unbelievable. And the way she moved, she was very graceful, like a gazelle or something. She was just like so beautiful. And just to think, her and Melania were maybe friends or acquaintances of some sort. It's a small world that they live in. And Melania has seen and heard a lot. She has a lot of tea. She knows a lot of tea on the very people that are in the culture. You would be surprised. As well as President Trump. He is very much a part of the culture. A lot of rappers used to put his name in their rap lyrics. There was somebody who had a song called Black Trump, and he was very much a part of the culture. He's from Queens, New York. And I think he's been to the cookout a time or two. He's dated foundational Black American woman in the past. Did you know that? President Trump dated a foundational Black American woman. Beautiful. I think he only deals with beautiful women. Sorry, Rosie O'Donnell, you won't get a chance. Hey, Nering, Neringavara. Oh, I can't do it. I have to say Nering. Did I say it? Gava. Nering. Oh, I don't want to mess it up. I'm sorry, Nering. Thank you. You said I haven't seen the movie, but Melania is a classy lady, classy first lady. Sadly, people are being fed nonsense. Yes, the media. By the way, before I end on that note, the media. Okay, Don Lemon, what he did, he ruined the media so much. It's going to ripple across the media landscape for a long time. He put a bad stain on media and independent journalists. Not so much. I mean, I think Nick Shirley is doing a lot for independent journalism and a lot of good journalists, but he's not going to be seen in a good light after what he did. He really ruined it. And eventually, I think we should start to, I've said this before, we should start as citizens to bring lawsuits against journalists. We should start to sue them for journalistic malpractice, especially the ones that repeat the dangerous narratives that encourage people to get out in the streets and rebel against law and order. If anybody gets hurt doing that, listening to the media, they should be held accountable. They should be sued civilly. And they should lose their positions. We should start holding the media accountable as citizens, I think. Because they hold a certain, they have to have integrity. But I believe they can be sued. And that might be what we need to do to them, to shut them down from the propaganda narratives, so that our young people won't be attacked. And some of these crazy leftists, maybe they could start to heal their brains and get back into reality, if they're not listening to all this poison every day. But eventually, they will phase themselves out because they're losing so much credibility daily. And the Black Boule, which props up Don Lemon and all of his foolishness, the Black Boule has lost influence. They're going to eventually be a joke. People will be ashamed to say that they're a part of it, that they're in a sorority. The young people are not going to go down that road anymore. They're not going to pledge, like, they're going to lose a lot of numbers because they depend on money. You know, you have to pay your dues to these places. Their dues, I'm sure they're already suffering. They're going to start to lose money, like everything that went in the path of corruption. It's all going to be reckoned, and they're going to be relegated to a mockery, a joke. Thank you. Smart not to vote. Yeah, no, Obama from the gate, I did not like him. I couldn't understand it. I wanted to like him. I'm not kidding. I wanted to like him because I saw all my friends and family. They were whipped up in the rapture of Obama. And I felt like, wow, I felt some FOMO. Like, I was missing out on the worship of him. I wanted to, but I couldn't get it together. I couldn't make myself like Obama at all. But I didn't hate him, and I didn't like his policies, but I didn't wish anything bad or go out and protest against him. I didn't do that. Simple. You don't have to do that if you don't like somebody. You shouldn't hate somebody to that point anyway. So it's so insane, but that's the problem. We have a lot of insanity. Okay. All right. And I will be back for the rest of we'll start our rewind again, pick back up. We're in the year 2001. You already know what's happening. Oh boy. So I'll let you know. Keep you posted. If you are on Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, if you want to connect with me, please do. I do a lot more on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, I post a lot to Instagram. So if you want to connect, you can find me over there, Jennifer Easton Washington, on any of I try to keep it the same, like I said, across all of it. So I thank you. We've been here for a while, 2 hour, a long one. But I guess they're going to be long. I'll do short and stuff too, so mix in other stuff. And if you have any ideas, if you have any feedback, just be kind. Some guy, he came into the comments and he called me a dummy or something, and I've been saying mean things, right? Juan, he tries to coach me as well as Karen, that I don't say all the mean stuff back to these idiots. Juan, he tries to coach me, and he knows that sometimes I can't help it. When they call me a name, I call them a name back. So I have to work on it, okay? I have a lot of work to do. But in the meantime, I'll try to not respond to the loon balls. I'll try not to, okay? Thank you. Take care. Love you. Bye, everybody.